Okay, so here we are coming onto hands and knees. Now, already the relationship to gravity is just totally different for the spine. So, just letting yourself feel that. And I like to not stay static when my joints are hurting. So, I like to just give myself a little sway from side to side. If your tendency is to fall into your lower back or have lower back pain, just be sure that you're finding somewhat of a neutral spine. And that may feel like you have to draw your front ribs in a little bit. So again, I'm just kind of rocking myself from side to side, and I'm going to bring some awareness onto my hands here, and I'm going to just watch the weight transfer between my hands. It's just sort of nice, especially if you feel like wrist tension. You might really bend your elbows here. And I'm thinking about my fingers being active, and specifically I'm thinking about sort of like the outside line of my hand and the pinky line of my hand as I rock. So if anyone has ever studied the Axis syllabus, there's a whole lot of work here that we can think about the hands. Finding your hands not as a flat surface, but as a really sort of articulate, circular type surface. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna start taking my hips in a circle. So I've started the rock from side to side, and now I'm sort of taking my weight in a circle. And then I'm gonna take the opposite. And then for some of you, you might already really be feeling in these wrists, so you might be ready to come back, move your hips back towards your heels, maybe find a little bit of flexion. So if child's pose is not a comfortable position for you, there's a couple options. You might just try padding underneath your head, like with a block or a cushion. Sometimes it's helpful to draw a cushion into the belly and really let the belly just kind of crush against that cushion. You could put a little extra space between your knees if you want. And then if it's uncomfortable to bring your sits bones back, you might try just like sitting up on something. Okay. Just taking a couple breaths in child's pose here, feeling how the back of the spine is free up towards the sky now. Couple of breaths. Feeling that openness on the back of the body. Alright, if you're already feeling an achiness in your knees or your hips, you might want to come up and extend a leg behind you. So you can come up onto hands and knees, maybe soft elbows, maybe reach one leg back. Opening out the back of the knee and then the other leg. I like to give myself a little rock here. If you're staying in child's pose, that's fine as well. Okay, we're going to do that rock from side to side. Again, I'm going to keep some soft elbows. I'm going to think about the weight transferring between my hands. So I'm not static, but this time I'm really going to let my hips go side to side. So I'm finding a little bit of articulation through the hips, articulation through the muscles of the hip. If it feels good to go in circles, you can go in circles. And I'm even almost, if you're looking and watching today, I'm lifting opposite hand off the ground. So shifting to my right, lifting my left, shifting to my left, just to kind of get a little like action through the joints. Alright, when you're ready, pushing back to a child's pose. This time, if it feels comfortable, you're going to tuck your toes under and stretch out the bottoms of your feet a little bit. And then you can inch your hands forward, inch your fingertips forward. And if it doesn't feel good to lower your forehead down here, you can grab a block or just keep your head floating in the air. Okay, from here, I'm going to plant my whole hand down on the floor. I'm going to think about my shoulder blades just floating away from the ears and getting a little wide on the back as I do that. This back of the neck is soft and long. I'm going to push into my hands and inhale, slowly float myself forward to hands and knees. And then I'm just going to exhale and slowly float myself back. So I'm just doing a weight transfer again, finding a little stability in the shoulder joint now. My hands gently press down, my shoulders float down the back and wide, not pressing the shoulders away from the ears, but just feeling them nice and easy. Exhaling back. We'll do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back towards child's pose, patting under the forehead if you need to. If it's not comfortable to lower your head down, you could also just come rest on your elbows for a moment. If you're feeling good in your wrists, you can give your wrists a little love. Okay, we're gonna do that again, just a little transfer forward of weight, a little shifting of weight from hands to feet. Now, if this doesn't feel right to you, you can stay in your child's pose. If you have a downward facing dog practice, you could do this from downward facing dog. You can rest in your child's pose, or you can come back to downward facing dog, staying nice and soft through the joints. And then we're just going to do the same thing. Inhale, a little weight shift forward. Front ribs draw in a little bit, and exhale back. If it's too much in your shoulder joints, lower your knees down to the floor and move from hands and knees to child's pose if you're doing down dog. And back. And one more. And back. If you're working in downward facing dog here, you could bend your right knee and straighten your left leg and swing your hips a little bit, and then do the other side. So just staying nice and buoyant and juicy in the joints of the hips and the knees. You might also soften your elbows a little here. Okay, we're going to come to meet in hands and knees position. Okay, if your day is ending and you want to take a moment of rest, you can, or either way, you could take a moment of rest. If your day is just beginning and you're ready to keep going, we're going to come to walk the hands back. You can do it from down dog or from hands and knees, and we're going to try to, this is a tricky one, but if you're coming from hands and knees, you're going to try to walk your hands so far back till you come to stand on your feet. And you're going to keep the knees nice and bent here, and you can bend your knees, bring your elbows down onto your thighs. And just coming halfway up. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did in that down dog walk. So we're just going to move the hips from side to side. So one leg is getting a little more straight than the other. And then I'm just going to walk my hands up my thighs to come up to stand that way. So I'm just staying nice and juicy through the joints. Nice and easy. Okay, we're going to keep some of that action in the joints. So we're going to lift the arms up towards the sky, and to stay with that action, bend your right knee and lift your right arm up, and then bend your left knee and lift your left arm up. So give yourself a little side opening. If this is hurting your lower back, engage your belly slightly. Your pelvic floor can lift. Oh, yes. Love it. A little stretching through the sides of the body, little yawn. Feeling those joints wake up. All right, I invite you to stay with this idea of your juicy joints for the day, the hour, the night, whatever is ahead of you. If you're looking to continue your practice today, I invite you to take a look at the dynamic stretching video. So if you're feeling like, oh, my joints are feeling a little better, but still tender today, dynamic stretching can be a great way to start to open the body and keep some openness in the joints. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me.